It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men, said Frederick Douglass. Good evening, respected judges and lovely audience. Winsome words of Frederick Douglass, mentioned earlier, has obviously rung a bell in our minds. Don't you agree with me? Admittingly, it would, for strict parenting and its pros and cons has indeed been not just the talk of the town, but of the entire globe. When the world around changes its scene every minute, building up strong, self-dependent and disciplined children no doubt is the need of the hour. How is this possible? Does this come with a formula? Is there a rule or law? Well, parenting is not governed by rules or regulations. It's purely a matter of discernment and selectivity, compassion and understanding, and of course, warmth and introspection. It's best to use positive and negative strokes while disciplining a child. This will help reinforce the good and discourage the bad in the child without hurting his ego or physique. Protected under a strong canopy of care, guidance, motivation, encouragement, and disciplining, he will be nurtured with love, thereby making him a worthy citizen of the morrow. May I ask my worthy audience a gentle question? Does this stratagem of parenting, as deliberated by me, fall within the frame of strict parenting? Here what is important is your perception and sensitivity. And if that is so, what matters to the utmost is that the gates between both should be well balanced. An African proverb says, "It takes the whole village to raise a child," but sometimes the same village has to shut up. This brings in the great responsibility of a parent to develop insight which will further help him to maintain an equilibrium. Engrossed in this noblest phenomenon of parenting, once a while it would be good for a parent to ruminate on the age-old story of the father and the son carrying the donkey, which indirectly means that he should be mindful that too many cooks spoils the broth. Strict parenting obviously is a mandatory requirement which is an unavoidable factor in the raising up of a good child fraternity. Yet, every parent should remember that the yardstick which is used to measure the do's and don'ts vary from child to child and from one situation to the other. The conviction of thoughts and principles related to one may prove to be a mismatch for another. Always remember, patience is the most important vehicle that commutes a parent through his journey of good parenting. In this journey, when strictness becomes secondary, the goal of goodness becomes pivotal. Be mindful that the journey matters as much as the destination. Having mulled over the different phases of parenting, let us be heedful that eventually every child of ours, closeted within the frame of good parenting, strict or otherwise, should be able to laugh often, should be able to win the respect of the world at large, earn the appreciation of honest critics, and of course, endure the betrayal of false friends. To learn to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. If your child has succeeded in this, you have won as a parent. Musing these words of the great philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, may I depart thanking you all.